we're only signing a 1 year.
Correct.
Okay.
Can you rebid it next year?
We definitely could, sure.
Any other discussion?
Are you making an amendment?
No, I just wanted to clarify that it's for a 12-month, a 12-month term, 1 year term.
Did you go through medical underwriting, or did the other carrier just quote you out the claims trend?
What was the question? I'm sorry.
Did you have to go through medical underwriting, or did we have just quotes out the trend?
We have experience from United Healthcare, so our claims and utilization type experience, we use that. And then obviously the carriers baked in their own trend and their own underwriting procedures. We went to the whole market, so Anthem, WPS, Humana, Network Health, WEA Trust, and WEA Trust and WPS were the two competitive bids.
WBA Trust and WPA, who other, isn't there a many, who do they insure that I know of? Is it like the state?
So WEA Trust is an estate plan, and they used to be before Act 10 strictly to school districts. It's the Wisconsin Education Association. After Act 10, they became for all public sector employers, so municipalities, counties, et cetera.
Universities,
yeah, state employees. WPS is based out of Madison, Wisconsin Physician Services. They have a lot of business in the public sector, again, a Wisconsin-based company.
also university. Okay. We have a motion, we have a second. All in favor of the motion stated, say aye. Aye. Opposed?
Make a motion just to get something on the floor. I move to adopt the changes related to health insurance and the inclusion of the high deductible option as stated in the amended HR manual.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion?
Can I amend that? All right, so I don't know how to change this. I'll be a little help here. I'd like to amend the motion by adding language to say I move to adopt the changes related to health insurance and the inclusion of the high deductible option as stated in the amended HR manual. Striking, is it striking the $400?
About eliminating.
Yeah, just after year one, eliminating the $400 village contribution after year one.
Why would anyone go into the plan knowing that they're gonna lose their contribution after a year?
No, it's the we give the $400 for the first year to.
Yeah, let's make sure we're clear on this. So the 400, that's for single plans, 1,200 for family.
Yeah,
So-
so let me just say what I mean.
So you're talking about
The
the
initial switch, they get this put in their account, and after that, it's not an annual contribution.
yeah.
You should understand the contract is only for 12 months. And there's an option for the second year that based on certain ratios, that you could renew with them at certain caps increase.
I get it.
But if it's only 12 months, you're not committing to
Right.
anything past 12 months.
I just want to make it clearly, in case we continue on, because it's in the HR manual, it's saying that if you stay on this plan and we continue the plan, then we will continue to put the money in.
So if I could summarize what Trustee Rozick is mentioning, that this would be a one-time thing. So if we end up being on this plan for multiple years, the employee would receive the contribution the first year, and then years 2 onward, they would not receive any initial HSA contribution unless they did wellness. Is that a correct interpretation?
Yes, so for any health savings account, like once they're on it, no matter what carrier we are every year, this is our manual, our HR manual. So if we offer a health savings account, no matter who our carrier is, and we adopt this language, no matter who we pick every year after year, this would apply. This contribution based on changing our HR manual.
Would 400 and 1,200 be in the HR manual? Or will
Yes,
it-
so if you look at the last page of the memo I provided you with the materials,
Yeah.
that's the language that I am proposing that's in there.
So it's
Can
not.
I suggest some language? So under the paragraph, the high deductible plan, the second sentence, we'll say the village will provide a cut out annual, a contribution in 2018
Yeah.
towards an employee's health savings account in the amount of $400 and $1,200.
That's it, that's perfect.
Yeah, then next
I-
year-
And I would offer a friendly amendment instead of 2018, a one-time.
Right, because it could be in 2019.
Right, because even though this will be a renewal, like, I'm hoping this is not a one-year relationship, I am hoping this is a multi-year relationship.
Okay, so instead
So I would
instead
just
of
change that to a
annual, we'll say
one-time.
A one-time contribution.
Yeah.
I mean, you're saying the expectation is a one, you sign up, you get one contribution, where the language saying it's 280. For this year, you're gonna get 400. Next year, it might be nothing. I mean, it just states that just for this year, I don't.
Right now, it says that it will provide an annual contribution of $400 or
Right.
$1,200.
Right.
So we're just saying,
I like your language,
Yeah.
saying it's for this, it's clear it's this year's contribution.
Yeah, this is.
I'll just need to make sure to review this every year then,
That's
which I can do, but
Or you could have a separate schedule and just refer to a schedule in the HR plan and then have a schedule that you change
But-
every year.
As long as we offer a health spending accounts, you won't have to change the HR manual because it just says, it's just saying you get a one-time, it doesn't matter what year you sign up. Your
The policy
health
is-
plan contract and your HR manual are two separate things.
That was gonna be, excuse me a moment, that was gonna be my comment, I think, rather than tie it to a date, if the board's policy is to provide a one-time contribution, which would incentivize hopefully employees to join the large deductible plan, you don't want a date on there, because we could have new employees, next year we have new employees at 19.
Right.
So you would just state in the policy manual that employees that select the high deductible option would receive a one-time contribution from the village in the amount of $400 for a single, $1,200 for a family. And then it's, I assume it's your contention then that the wellness contribution would continue. So if you're in the high deductible plan and participated in wellness, you would get those funds on an annual recurring basis. Is that correct? Otherwise, you would disincentivize your wellness program.
are you asking me that or the board?
I was just asking for clarification.
I'm confused, but I didn't get this about wellness. So wellness, you get a reduction in your premium amount from 15 to 10, and in addition, you get a contribution to your HSA, is what's being proposed here, right?
If you stay on the standard plan, you receive a reduction in your premium from 15 to 10%,
Just like today.
just like today, yeah. For the high deductible plan, you already start at the 10% premium, and no matter if you complete wellness or not, it stays at 10%. What you get is instead is dollars put into your HSA account.
So really, if I chose the high deductible and did wellness, I would get $900.
Correct. Correct.
Or if I'm a family, $2,700.
Correct. And then with the amended motion, that would only be one time that you would be at that dollar amount. Then you would go down to the 500 and 1,500 reoccurring, as long as you participate in wellness.
I have a question about that.
I want to recognize Mark here first.
Yeah, I was working with Tyler and Horton and the benefits committee as a group, and just really want to advise the board that, with this type of an adjustment, the economics of risk for the employee changes dramatically if you take away the annual contributions. And that is fine. It's a policy decision. But for every employee that stays on this plan, as staff and the benefits committee has brought it forward, we save $3,000 a year. So if you modify that and 1 out of 4 people flops back in year 2, you've wiped out all those savings.
But don't we get a savings, what's the savings from, right now, we got a rate reduction, so.
About $40,000.
Yeah, but-
Everybody stayed on the standard copay.
The savings that I provided to you, these here, that's not considering the rate reduction. That totally disregard the rate reduction. This is looking at the savings that if someone was on the standard plan and switches to the high deductible plan, those are the savings. So what Mark is saying, if you take away that incentive years 2 moving forward, you're risking someone going to the high deductible 1 year so they can get those 400 and 1200, and then jumping back to the standard plan, which it's adding now those dollar amounts back onto our budget. So
So
that's the risk that Mark is talking
Yeah.
about.
So what kind of participation do you see in employers in these two types of plans, or what kind of range of participation?
Sure, it does depend on the contribution you put into it. I would say if you had no HSA contribution money, you'd probably get less than 10% people jump in, especially the first year, because it's a new plan and a lot of education. I will say last Friday when we met with the insurance company, we went over some of these numbers. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, but I'd say more than half, if not almost all of them, were interested in this plan because of the HSA contributions that are being proposed, which is fantastic because in future years, this is probably the future of health insurance is towards this type of plan. So if we can ease people into it now, it's much better than having to do it in 2-3 years and forcing people to do it without being able to afford these contributions.
So if we say 2018, the next, and it's on a schedule, then when we get together and approve the salaries for next year, we know the health benefit, it's part of our compensation package. We,
So 780 minus 400, is that right?
I was just saying, if we put it as part of the setting of the salary compensation, and this is part of, the next year would be, we're going to set it, is it 400 or is it going to be less? Then it appears that it is something that's set annually, but we're committed to it. If we drop it to 0 or 200, we can see whatever we're going to where it's at, how it's performing.
So what would that amendment sound like? Not that you would make it, I'm not forcing you to make an amendment, but would that be
language that
then?
said that will provide an annual contribution as stated in the schedule.
It'll refer, which.
Annual schedule,
Johnson.
whatever.
Okay, thank you for the.
Like we've got the
Yeah,
salary
exactly.
schedule, we have
Okay.
Go ahead.
So it's 780 for the savings.
And that's including
I
the HSA contributions.
So, and then the 400's in there.
Yes. So it's not like you subtract 400 and it's really only 380. That's already been considered.
Are you sure about these numbers?
Mark and I crunched them, we are
I
sure.
haven't seen them, so I asked.
Yeah, we are
So
sure.
that's where it becomes a win-win. There you go. I mean, so we're 3,000 ahead or 2,000 ahead for everybody who.
So do you have a recommendation for what we should say in the manual?
Well, my recommendation's in the HR manual.
Should there be a change to what you have for the action in your memo right now?
Well, if you want to revisit it every year, you could do 1 or 2 options. You could put language that tells staff to do that, because I don't, while I'd love to be here for a long time, you don't, and I can certainly know to do that, there might be a chance I'm not, so that's where having maybe some additional language saying that, staff needs an annual, annual adoption by the board on what's in
Of a schedule.
or a schedule, an annual schedule adopted by the board based on HSA contributions, but,
Go ahead.
I'd like to just suggest that the amendment stays as it is. It does the same things. We can revisit that next year. I just don't want to, if we change, okay, so the advantage of the amendment that was proposed or stated, thank you for helping me with that, strike that word, is that it doesn't tell the employees they're going to get it annually. That it says for the first year here, you're going to get it, but it doesn't state that it's annual. And then at the end of next year, we review the contracts, we see if there's any rate, and we can always then for the next
I would almost, yeah, I would recommend, if you want to just revisit it every
Right.
year after year after year, that's where trustee Menta's amendment for 2018
Right.
is a good amendment, because then I'm gonna need to come back to the
Yes.
board for 2019.
Thank you. I prefer that, so they don't have the assumption, what do you say, that the expectation, thank you.
I don't disagree. I think there might be an easier way to do it so that we don't have to change the human resources manual every year, is simply to say, the village will provide an annual contribution towards an employee health HSA in an amount to be annually determined.
What about zero?
That's what we're gonna determine.
Will provide.
We'll provide. In some years, it's gonna be zero. In the same way that we've got a 4-tiered drug card and the first tier is zero.
Well, I like
You know,
that, I just,
so it's.
I just want to make it clear to the employee that, because it's.
I think that's part of the explanation. I'm trying to make it easy for us, workable for our administration, and understandable for the employee. I think we
Well,
just-
my amendment was never seconded, so why don't you make that amendment?
Okay, so I would make the amendment that the second sentence in the high deductible plan paragraph be written